We were all set for a geologist's dream vacation to the Grand Canyon in the fall of 2023. But instead, we headed to the flowing rivers, forested vistas, and fossiliferous bedrock of northern Arkansas's Buffalo River. You could say we traded one river incised into mostly flat bedrock for another. But why? What was wrong with the Grand Canyon? And what was so right about the Ozarks? Let's explore this question here on Ozark Outsider. First, some backstory. Hiking the Grand Canyon is a life dream for any geology buff. Not just looking out over the rim, but actually traversing almost 5,000 vertical feet through the geologic sequence, all the way down to Precambrian basement rock. But to do this right, to actually take time to study the rocks, to really appreciate the sheer immensity of it all, you can't just power hike the route in one day. You have to stay at least one night. And here's where things get complicated. The Grand Canyon is a massively popular destination, and overnight stays down in the canyon require submitting an application for a backcountry permit, which enters a monthly lottery for limited slots. These permit applications have to be for specific visitation dates chosen months in advance. In our case, we had to have our complete plan in place by June to apply for a November visit. And by early May, long before we could even submit our application, prices were high and lodging capacity low, so we booked some nights on the rim and hoped for the best. We'd chosen November for its higher lottery success rate, despite the also higher risk of inclement weather. June came and we sent in our application from a library fax machine? Yeah, you heard that right. There was no digital application option in 2023. In the meantime, we prepared. We perused books and research papers on Grand Canyon geology, and read about the work of early female botanists in the canyon, and even dove into the Tony and Ann Hillerman mystery series set within Navajo culture. We also worked on building leg muscles and lung capacity. It's no coincidence this was the summer we biked Missouri's 240-mile Katy Trail. And we waited, nervously but optimistically. Surely chance would shine on a pair of geologists with a life dream and a lot of mental, physical, temporal, and financial resources invested in this trip. But anyone who understands narrative structure knows what happened next. On July 30th, our permit application was denied. Now what do we do? We tried to swallow our bitter disappointment and decided to flip the script on the overcrowded, overscripted, overpriced Grand Canyon, and instead visit a different National Park Service unit where we knew there would be few people, no permits, and low cost. Northern Arkansas's Buffalo National River it was. As summarized by the National Park Service, the Buffalo National River flows freely for 135 miles and is one of the few remaining undammed rivers in the lower 48 states. We have a lot of collective experience exploring the upper Buffalo River region. Nestled in the rugged Boston Mountains, the highest terrain in the Ozarks. But neither of us had spent much time along the lower Buffalo, a region so rugged that even during peak European settlement it was considered something of a wilderness. We're both lifelong canoeists, easily drawn to the prospect of paddling 60 miles along a remote Clearwater River. And we knew we could indulge our geologist, naturalist, and historian interests by hiking the backcountry to find interesting outcrops, ecosystems, and ruins. So in late October, we took a deep dive, sometimes literally, into the lower Buffalo River. Despite mostly gorgeous fall weather, we encountered few people and no bureaucracy. Just pack a canoe with food and gear, call an outfitter a few days before to set up a car shuttle, and off you go. Paddle clear, spring-fed water with tests of canoe handling skill in certain rivers, and lazy drifting along deep pools. When the water's low, as in this year of drought, you may end up walking the river as well. Camp on isolated gravel bars, with clear fall skies overhead, and driftwood for fires. Wake to morning mist burning away to a welcoming sun. Pay attention to the river's ecology, from fascinating groups of water insects, fish ranging from tiny minnows to massive gars, and an impressive diversity of freshwater mussels. Take breaks to hike into the hills, finding vibrant mosses on ridgetop sandstone seeps, soaring pines that somehow escaped the loggers, and memorable sandstone outcrops laced with trace fossils. Pay attention to riverside geology as well, from fractured limestone laced with mineral veins, to surprisingly common evidence of bedrock folding and faulting, to endlessly engaging gravel bar diversity, including some impressive ancient marine fossils like this stromatolite. Look for traces of human history, such as abandoned mines, old homesteads, lingering railroad bridge abutments, and memory-laden cemeteries. And when the paddling's done, there's plenty more to explore along the surrounding region's extensive hiking trails. For just one example, check out the fantastic sandstone rock bridge and associated cave entrance, along with sweeping Ozark vistas at nearby Almas Knob. While we chose the Buffalo River in part to avoid the effects of overcrowding at the Grand Canyon, we still encountered human misuse. While we value deer control as hunters ourselves, it was frustrating to encounter irresponsible hunters degrading the wilderness experience by discarding hides and guts in the river and illegally camping in a historic building. And it only took one lazy camper to ruin a nice gravel bar by leaving all too much trace. As geologists, we'll let this rock express our feelings about this behavior. Public lands across the country are struggling to manage a combination of rising use and falling budgets. While we chose a quiet time in the Buffalo, the river can also be packed with floaters and campers at busy times. But the Buffalo also allows flexibility in a way the Grand Canyon can't, and if you're willing to adapt, you can have a great wilderness experience with a fraction of the fuss. Despite our regret at missing out on a geologist's life dream, this turned out to be a wonderful vacation for us. Low on cost and stress, and high on discovery and relaxation. Overlooked regions like the Ozarks can offer a lifetime of off-the-beaten-path exploration and inspiration, where navigation means a compass and a map, not fax machines and bureaucracy. This trip turned out to be a great example of why we started this channel, to share our love of the Ozark landscape and to raise awareness of the region's underappreciated resources and potential. Stick with us here on Ozark Outsider as we continue to explore the geology, nature, and history of this amazing region.